Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi, and today I wanted to talk about something that, in my opinion, is a big problem. I think we, guitar players, became too lazy, which definitely has to do something with the evolution of guitar rigs, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against it. I think it's a natural thing and it has to happen, and it's good that it's happening. But we can lose a lot of important things on the way if we don't pay attention to them. And also, it can definitely harm excitement and inspiration. Everything that I say in this video is just one opinion. It's my opinion, and who says that I'm right? I highly encourage you to go down to the comments and let me know what you think, what your experience is. And of course, whilst doing that, you can also subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, whatever else, check out the merchandise. All those things would help this channel and what I'm doing immensely. All right, the first thing I wanted to talk about, or rather clarify, is that I'm not talking about being lazy to practice. I know there's a lot of distraction for kids nowadays, whoever starts playing guitar or whatever else, hobby, with all those games and online stuff and social media and TikToks and Reels and YouTube Shorts and whatever. Kids are much more into YouTubers and YouTube stars and TikTokers than into bands, which is, yeah, it's a tendency for sure, but I don't think it's a huge issue because whoever really enjoys music will find music, and we have incredible new generation guitar players, people like, I don't know, Matteo Mancuso with his crazy finger-picking technique, mixing fusion, jazz, and rock and blues, Tim Henson with his super technical, crazy R&B style, modern guitar playing. A lot of guitar players introduce the instrument to young people in new ways, which is cool. We're all good. We don't have to worry about that, I think. The first thing I wanted to talk about is that we want to let gear do everything for us, which is a natural thing. I mean, all those multi-effects and modelers and MIDI controlled crazy huge pedal boards and whatever, it is very comfortable to just program everything and, I don't know, create an Ableton session where in the computer where all the changes, MIDI changes, will just happen automatically. Just push play and just follow your click track and everything will be changed, your programs, your presets on your modeler or whatever, which is very comfortable, of course, but it also makes us very dependent on technology, which is, as told, it's the evolution. It's all right. Of course, there are places where you have to do something like this. If you play in a crazy technical metal band and you need a completely different sound every 5 seconds, it's kind of stupid to step on foot switches every 5 seconds whilst playing crazy stuff. So there's a place for it. Or if you're, I don't know, playing for a huge pop act and they want you to have a certain sound at that moment, you cannot start doing the step dance and switching 3 or 4 foot switches one after another. You need the presets. You need to be on time. So those are the exceptions, of course. There's a place for that. But is that really necessary, right? Do we have to make our lives that easy? Or is it okay to learn playing the guitar and learn controlling whatever comes out of the speaker? I think That's a part of the story, and it's as big of an achievement to be able to actually play a full song from start to finish and know where to step on which switch and how to control the guitar and all the rest of the stuff that you can influence and sort of change and turn on and off. I think that's an exciting training as well. It's a really good way of being in charge of what's happening. And for the most part, and for most of us, all those crazy complex stuff just take away the focus from what really matters. It just gives freedom if you don't program everything to be a preset, or don't have an Ableton session, as mentioned, that will change all the sounds for you, and all you have to do is just follow the click track in your in-ears, because there's no freedom in it, right? You have to stick to whatever is programmed, and there's no space for actually being live there in that moment. When I'm like, I don't know, on the other side of the stage, and I realize in 2 seconds my solo starts, and I rush to my pedal board and slam on those 1 or 2 switches to have my volume boost and my delay on, or reverb, whatever I want. It's a part of playing live, or becoming like the person in charge of my sound, instead of just, pushing play and then everything happens and everything changes, and all I have to do is, I don't know, look good on stage or whatever the hell. I don't know. The second point I want to talk about is in a way related to the first one, but it goes one step further. I think the evolution of rigs and all the technology, in a way, kills the excitement for new stuff. I'll explain that in a second. And it also, in a way, kills the will to learn to get a lot out of not a lot. If you have a modeler or a multi-effect that does, 100 amps, you can't just switch between, there's an Angle, a Mesa, a Fender, whatever. And they sound really damn good nowadays. That's the thing, that you can actually get away with that if you have an XFX or a Camper or a Quad Cortex or a Fender Tonemaster Pro, or even the more budget-friendly versions. Sounds so amazing that you can actually just live your life without once actually playing through a Mesa or a whatever. That's a good thing. That is an amazing thing. The problem is that if you have all of those things, you never experience the excitement and that special moment when you finally, after, 10 years or 20 years, plug into a Mesa rectifier or a Bogner Ecstasy or something that's kind of unobtainable. You just have it. You just do this and this and this, and you went through 3 or 4 super rare, super expensive amps, and all of those models will sound amazing too. So your audience will say like, awesome sound. I love that. What was that? And then no one really cares about the excitement anymore. It's like, yeah, whatever, it's an Angle, it's a Diesel, it's a Fender, something boutique, whatever, matchless. I will never ever forget the first moment when after many years of playing, I've saved up, sold a lot of things and saved up for a used triple rectifier. I called the guy we met in a rehearsal space, and he had this amp set up. I took my guitar. My heart was bumping, I was sweating, I had goosebumps all over my body. I was like, oh my God, I'll actually play a real rectifier, turn it on, first chords, had to buy it. And those moments are just incredible. And it's too bad that a lot of people don't ever experience that, because we move forward to a much more efficient, much more reasonable, and way more versatile sort of rig environment where we don't ever need an amp anymore. As much as I appreciate the versatility and all that efficiency in that, those moments are so important and so crucial to make you really appreciate a guitar tone. The moment you experience a really good, loud, simple setup, you start to realize how easy it is to make a simple amp with just 1 or 2 options do a lot for you just by turning back the volume, just figuring out which pickup position is the best, just changing the way you pick the guitar. All those things can already make so much, and it's so much fun learning that. And the last point I wanted to talk about is it's much more of a general issue, I think, with us human beings, but it definitely fits this discussion. So it is definitely true for guitar players. If something is expensive or hard to get, right, like rare or something, people get angry and offended instead of accepting it as something that maybe needs 20 years to save up to, or to be able to justify getting it, or maybe it's just going to stay a dream forever. What is the problem with not being able to afford something? I don't know. I will never be able to afford a Dumble. I'd love to own one, or at least play one just once even, but I'm okay with them being ridiculously expensive. I don't get angry because it's something that's collectible. If a custom-made guitar is ridiculously expensive, I don't know. I don't see the point why I should be angry. There are incredible instruments that cost a fraction of that price, and you can have a professional career with just playing, sub 1,000 euro instruments. And maybe even sub 500 euro instruments if you know which one, and maybe tweak it in a way or something. It's not necessary to get the luxury stuff. In the same way as if someone gets super angry that a Porsche 911 GT3 RS is ridiculously expensive, or a Ferrari, or whichever luxury car, it's like, of course they're expensive. Their purpose is to be the dream car. It's the same thing for a custom shop instrument. Their purpose is to be the most desirable instrument. It's okay to have them, we don't need them, but a lot of us want to have them, and it's okay to save up for 20 years or 10 years, or it's okay to never be able to afford it. I would of course love to have like a Burst, like a 58 or 59 original Gibson Les Paul Sunburst, or a private stock crazy PRS, or whatever. Those instruments are amazing and love to have them, but I know they would not make me any happier. That's the thing. If you can't be happy with whatever you can afford in your budget, you will never be happier if you throw a lot of money at the problem. If you get the most expensive amp or guitar, you will not be happier, because it's a state of mind, right? You can have a really bad guitar, right? It's an option. I had a lot of those, and I still managed to find other guitars in the same budget that just worked perfectly. And I was happy with them until I could move on, or I felt like I want to try something else, or move up, a price range or something else. It's doable. It's not about money or expensive guitars, or a lot of success in life will not make you happier. You don't have to envy those who have those guitars, right? I have 2 custom shops and I have cheap guitars. I love them equally. I usually end up using the ones that speak to me most, and it's not always the most expensive guitar. Don't worry about those price tags, and don't get super angry if a new, Les Paul or custom shop Tele or whatever is like super expensive. They are the top of the line. They have to be expensive. It's just the nature of those instruments, and it's totally fine to just dream about stuff that we maybe never can afford. It's actually healthy. It's good for you. All right, let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comments below. As mentioned, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, check out the description box for timestamps, additional infos. If you want to know what rig I used today, it's going to be all in there. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.